Hello, young scholars. This is Mr. Martyron with your Flip Classroom on the Protestant Reformation. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how the Catholic Church changes and breaks up as a result of the Protestant Reformation. So let's start with a little bit of background. Reformation or reform is a way of saying change. And in this instant, the Catholic Church is going to change some of its practices. Heading into the 1400s and then the 1500s, the power of the Catholic Church was already beginning to decline. So some of the challenges that faced the Catholic Church in the 1400s was, number one, society as a result of humanism was becoming more individualistic and more secular. Politically, monarchs were growing impatient with the church and the Pope and the church hierarchy. And also, with the development of the printing press in the 1500s, new ideas were circulating and people, again, were becoming more secular. And Martin Luther is a Catholic monk living in Germany. As he is studying the Bible, he notices there are inconsistencies in the practices of the Catholic Church. And most notable are the selling of indulgences. And as a result, he writes something called the 95 Thesis, in which he lists 95 ways that the Catholic Church inconsistent with the teachings of the Bible. So he publishes the 95 Thesis in order to draw attention to the church so that it can make the appropriate changes. So St. Peter's Basilica in Rome was being rebuilt, and the church needed money for the rebuilding. So the Pope authorized the selling of indulgences, and these were paper certificates issued by the church that said you could reduce or cancel your punishment for a person's sins. So a priest by the name of John Tetzel would go around from town to town selling these indulgences. And if you think about it, who can afford an indulgence at this time? Typically, it was the wealthier individuals. So peasants could buy indulgences. They could buy indulgences for future sins that they could commit. The Catholic Church even sold indulgences for the sins of dead relatives in an effort to ensure that they got to heaven. Martin Luther, through his study of the Bible, uncovers the fact that the Pope, John Tetzel, and the church clergy were scamming their parishioners. So Martin Luther publishes his 95 Theses, and because of the printing press, it goes viral for the 1500s. And when the Pope hears about this and reads the 95 Theses, he forces Martin Luther to recant his beliefs. And remember, Martin Luther is a devout Catholic, so he struggles with this. And Martin Luther finally comes to the realization that he cannot recount his beliefs. So Martin Luther refuses, and as a result, the Pope excommunicates him. And for a Catholic to be excommunicated means you can't go to heaven. However, Martin Luther challenges this practice because nowhere in the Bible does it mention that the Pope has the authority to excommunicate people. So as a result, Martin Luther runs as an outlaw from the Pope. And as he flees from town to town, more and more people begin reading the 95 Thesis as a result of the printing press, and more people begin to subscribe to Martin Luther's attitudes about Catholicism. And as a result, by the end of the 1500s, there is massive religious turmoil in Europe. And Martin Luther's followers are called Protestants, and they are Christians, but they have a different set of beliefs. So now we're going to take a look at what it means to be Protestant and what it means to be Catholic. And this is not an exhaustive list, but we're going to take a look at the fundamental differences between the two. So chief among them is that Catholics believe that good deeds will earn you salvation. Good deeds and the belief in one God will earn you salvation. So you need to believe in God, but you also need to be a good person. Martin Luther believes in the doctrine that you will be saved through something called faith alone. So faith in God will earn you salvation into heaven. Additionally, Catholics believe in the Bible, the Church, and the Pope, whereas Protestants believe that the Bible is the only source of religious doctrine. So the Bible doesn't mention anything about a Pope, so Protestants reject the Pope's authority. Catholics believe in the Pope, the church hierarchy, and that they have special power. They can absolve you of your sins, and they can sell indulgences. Where Protestants believe that all Christians have equal access to God through faith and the Bible. And in terms of special practices, Catholics believe in indulgences, which are no longer practiced, but they also believe of confessions of sins to priests. They also pray to saints, and priests and the clergy cannot marry. Protestants, on the other hand, believe that there are no selling of indulgences, you don't confess your sins to priests, and you don't pray to saints. And some of their clergy are permitted to marry. In 1555, under the Peace of Augsburg, Lutherans won the right to practice their own religion. German states were free to choose between Catholicism and Lutheranism. The Roman Catholic Church was no longer such a powerful political body that it was during the Middle Ages.